This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Johnny Nelson here in London. Johnny, Happy New Year. How are you?
So I'm good, thank you. I'm good. Nice to be back in the smoke. Back to business.
Back in the smoke. You got to go back up because you got a Sheffield show this weekend as well.
Yeah, we got a show this weekend in Sheffield, which is I'm looking forward to. I think it's Cutler's Hall tomorrow, or every day is going to be Cutler's Hall for the presser, the weigh-in, and everything like that. Gets the fight, so I'm looking forward to it.
Away from all things Sheffield, here we are, Azim, Lipinets, talking about this fight. Johnny, from your perspective, why do you feel like it's the right move at this stage in his career?
Perfect move for this stage in his career. This young man, his appetite's there, attitude's there, still hungry, has a stable background around him. He's not being distracted by the trappings and the successes, what he's already achieved. Most 22-year-old man would. He wants to stay hungry. He wants to stay on point. He doesn't party. He doesn't come from the outside in looking at his successes. He just wants to carry on being more hungry and successful, which is a good thing.
How do you see him breaking down the challenge of Sergey Lipinets? Up on stage, he said, as long as he can deliver what he's been doing in camp, 1 to 5, he thinks he can stop him.
Speed, pace, and power in youth, and he's got that. So regardless, the one thing he hasn't got is the experience. But each time he's moving on, he's getting more and more experience. So what he has is enough to get that win, and get that win inside the distance. You looked at the fight with O'Hara Davis, and even though O'Hara Davis had boxed at a higher level, how we dispatched O'Hara with calm and precision, it showed a maturity that that his corner have always wanted from him, and so it's really good.
When you look at his route towards world level, Johnny, there's no easy or gimme fights, if you will, up at world level. You've got the likes of Richardson Hitchens, who just beat Liam Parrow at IBF, Devin Haney coming back into the scene, Teofimo Lopez, WBO champion, Raul Valenzuela, who beat Isaac Cruz last year. It's a tough gig to try and become world champion at 140.
These names are big names because you make the big names, and it's hard to imagine Adam in the same sentence, in that same room. Why not? These, just because they're American or just because they're a big name, we think, or just because it's somebody don't think it's an impossible task or an impossible ask. So I don't think it's an impossible ask. I think Adam has shown a maturity out of him and a growth out of him that we've seen with all those other names. So as long as he keeps that belief and doesn't become a fanboy of them, just believe in yourself, believe in your own ability.
Johnny, last year, Usyk-Fury 2, Alexander Usyk, a man who you were convinced if you'd have fought him in your prime, you'd have beat him, defeated Tyson Fury in their rematch. Just take me back to that night. The right man won in your eyes, or? Yeah,
the right man won, without a doubt. I don't know why they were trying to make a song and dance about it. Usyk won. Usyk got the job done. Stepped up to heavyweight. He's left a trail of destruction of the heavyweight division as far as where we Brits are concerned. And so he's the smartest one out there. And he's done that. He's done it well within himself. No, not well within himself. He's done it where what he had has been enough. If you don't beat him the first time, you ain't going to beat him the second time. And he did a great job. Got the job done. I think Tyson Fury, if I'm honest with you, on the Monday when I got there, I thought Usyk's winning. And then by the time I got there on the Monday, I saw Tyson, saw the attitude. I thought if that Tyson would have turned up the first time, then that Tyson beats Usyk, but you only have one chance to make a first impression, and so Usyk already had an impression of Tyson because of the first fight. So Tyson had the right attitude, but the intent was scarred because he knew what Usyk was capable of doing. So in that fight, I think Tyson probably threw 6 instinctive shots. Now, if you understand boxing, you understand what I mean. He threw 6 shots that have instinctively got him a knockout, instinctively thrown a shot that catches the fighter off guard. The rest of them, he kind of second guessed. He had to think about the shot because he knew what Usyk was capable of doing. So because of the first fight, it hampered the instinct in the second fight. He needed the discipline of the second fight in the first fight with the instinct.
After the fight, we saw one of those Brits who he's defeated previously step into the ring and call him out, Daniel Dubois. Alexander Usyk said that's a fight that he'd like to make as well next, that rematch. How would you rate this version of Daniel Dubois against Alexander Usyk?
Well, Daniel Dubois had to do that. He had to go in there and try and get himself in the mix. In reality, how valuable is it? How viable? How, you know, I'm saying, yeah, whatever, and carry on talking, because it's not like the public's going to say it's got to be him next. If there's nobody else, then yeah. But I think it's great to talk about, but in reality, Usyk's, you don't need it. As far as he's concerned, he's proven. And Daniel's a dangerous cookie for him, because Daniel, he hurt him, and so if I was Usyk, I'm thinking, I've beat you, got the job done. I probably don't need to do that risk again with you. I'm not saying I won't beat you, but you're a risk, because you're now a confident version of the guy I knocked out that hurt me. So Daniel had to do what he had to do to try and get himself in the position.
Just on the theme of Daniel Dubois, the Joseph-Parker fight, what do you make of it? Who comes out on top?
That's a toughie. That's a toughie. Daniel is moving in the right direction at 27 years old. His style suits his age. Joseph-Parker, who's a clever guy, a clever boxer, a clever spoiler, a confident, clever spoiler, moving in the right direction as well. I know he has the beating of Daniel, but this version of Daniel Dubois, you know, is a train. He's a train going in the right direction. I'm working with Don Charles. Don Charles understands what he's got to do with Daniel.
And then just away from that, going back to Tyson Fury, the Anthony Joshua fight, a lot of people feel that it's the right fight to make for both men at this stage in their careers. Do you agree? And if we do see the most recent versions of them, who do you think would have the edge?
I think it's the only fight for them both, because these guys have both been at the top level of the heavyweight division. And even though financially they're spot on, they're in the position they want to be, they don't want to put themselves in a position to get turned over by anybody less than each other now. Usyk's proved you ain't going to come back here again. For AJ and for Tyson, the biggest purse out there is for each other. The biggest risk out there is anybody else, because AJ's proved, you know, if he doesn't turn up, he gets turned over. So why would you risk that? For Tyson again, you know, he needs that motivation, that drive to make sure he doesn't make that mistake. So this is the fight that's there for the both of them. I don't expect either of them to be fighting again. I expect them both to have retired by the end of this year. And I expect that because, you know, they've reached the highest of the heights. You look at where the position they are in, away from boxing compared to everybody else, they're in a great position. And you look at the only fight that's going to get them the best out of each other, and that's each other. Anything less, and it devalues their stock.
Who do you favour?
If you're going on last performance, you've got to favour Tyson Fury. You've got to go on Tyson Fury. You know, that's no slant on anybody. You've got to go on Tyson Fury if you're going on last performance.
Beterbiev-Bivol 2 as well, Johnny, around the corner. Repeat or revenge?
I think it's revenge. I think Bivol beats Beterbiev on points. I think Bivol has room to grow from the last fight, whereas Beterbiev doesn't. I think we see Beterbiev showed you he's got pace. The pace he worked at is the pace that he stays at. He ain't going to change. He's not going to change anything else, or can't change anything else about that style. So Bivol's got to make sure he takes the pace. He brings it up and down, and if he does that, he gets the win. So I think we get a different outcome for the next fight.
Mr. Johnny Nelson, I appreciate your time. I'll see you in Sheffield.
See you next week. Oh, this week.